Stone and Trey Parker still know how to make their audience laugh while tackling politics, culture, and bizarre storylines. Season 27 is no exception, but episode 5 came with an extra layer of curiosity and drama because of what happened the week before. Fans were left confused and a little disappointed when the episode that was supposed to air on September 17 never showed up. Instead, the creators admitted they missed their deadline. In a rare moment of honesty, they posted that doing everything last minute sometimes means not everything gets finished on time. That simple but raw confession instantly sparked memes, chatter, and plenty of jokes across social media. Now that the show is back with episode 5, everyone wanted to see what South Park would do next. The big question hovering over this season has been how the series would deal with the sudden and shocking death of Charlie Kirk, a far-right commentator who the show had parodied earlier in the season. Cartman was shown imitating Kirk's mannerisms, debate style, and overall energy in a way that both mocked and reflected the controversial figure. The parody sparked buzz, and when Kirk actually died in real life, viewers couldn't help but wonder how the show would handle such a surreal overlap between satire and reality. But episode 5 doesn't go down that route, at least not yet. Instead, Trey and Matt decided to focus on something else entirely, something more grounded in the absurd world of finance apps and prediction markets. This week's episode is centered on the idea of people using apps that let them bet on future events, kind of like Robinhood mixed with online gambling and stock speculation. These apps have been growing in popularity, and of course, South Park takes that concept and pushes it into wild, ridiculous territory. At its core, the story ends up being another chapter in the never-ending battle between Cartman and Kyle. Whenever South Park leans on their rivalry, fans know they're going to get a mix of brutal insults, outrageous schemes, and laugh-out-loud one-liners. Episode 5 delivers on that front. The episode starts by setting up this prediction market app as the new big thing that everyone in town is suddenly obsessed with, just like in past storylines where the boys got swept up in World of Warcraft, Bitcoin, or NFTs. South Park uses its sharp edge to poke fun at the way people chase trends. Pretty soon, the app isn't just a tool for fun little bets. It starts controlling how people think about their lives, what they expect from their friends, and even how they approach morality. The boys naturally take it too far, and Kyle and Cartman end up on opposite sides of the debate. Kyle tries to argue that betting on everything, especially serious issues, is unhealthy and dangerous. Cartman, of course, insists it's the best thing ever, mostly because it gives him power, influence, and a chance to mess with Kyle. What makes the episode fun is how quickly the prediction market spirals out of control. At one point, the kids are betting on things like, will the teacher finish the lesson on time? Or will someone throw up in the cafeteria? But soon the stakes rise to darker, more outrageous levels with bets about politics, scandals in life, or death events. South Park thrives on exaggeration, and this episode is no different. By the halfway point, it feels like the entire town is caught up in this gambling frenzy, with adults and kids alike unable to stop predicting the future. Meanwhile, another bizarre subplot keeps running quietly in the background.
Oh, we got a Death Star.
Trump. This storyline has been teased across multiple episodes this season, and it continues to provide some of the show's weirdest and most memorable moments. Promotional images for episode 5 hinted that the demonic child is still gestating, with Trump as the unlikely host. The gag is that Trump is supposed to give birth, but not in any normal way. Instead, the show keeps teasing the grotesque and ridiculous idea that he'll deliver Satan's child out of his butt. South Park fans know this is exactly the sort of dark and shocking humor the series loves, and the question of when the baby will arrive feels like a running joke designed to peak during Sweep for maximum chaos. Even though the Trump-Satan baby plot doesn't dominate this episode, its presence adds another layer of absurd comedy. South Park likes to juggle a central theme with a background story that keeps growing until it explodes into something big later on. That seems to be the plan here, and fans are watching closely to see how this twisted pregnancy will eventually pay off. But back to the episode's main point, the fight between Kyle and Cartman. Their dynamic is the heart of South Park. Kyle is usually the voice of reason, trying to point out how insane everything around him is, while Cartman thrives in exploiting chaos, greed, and selfishness. Episode 5 perfectly captures that balance. Kyle argues about the ethical problems
It's a
that
proton
turn
pack.
into a gambling opportunity.
Thermal
Cartman
detonator.
embraces it as a chance to manipulate everyone else. At one point, Cartman even rigs predictions to make sure he always comes out on top, which is exactly the kind of thing you'd expect from him. The rest of the boys, like Stan and Kenny, get caught up in the madness too, adding their own hilarious spins. Stan tries to act like he's above it, but he inevitably gets dragged in, while Kenny manages to make some of the funniest background gags. What's clever here is how South Park uses the kids to reflect the way real adults get obsessed with apps, money schemes, and gambling addictions. It's a mirror held up to society, but with fart jokes and Satan spawn in the mix. One thing fans were curious about going into episode 5 was whether South Park would acknowledge Charlie Kirk's death. After all, the show had just parodied him, and the coincidence was too strange to ignore. Comedy Central actually pulled the episode that
It's a Nirvana CD.
The executive producer of the Charlie Kirk show said Kirk loved the parody and would have wanted it to stay on the air. That episode, titled Got a Nut, is still streaming on Paramount, so fans can watch it even if it doesn't air again on TV. But in episode 5, Matt and Trey seem to set that story aside. There's no mention of Kirk or the parody. Instead, the focus remains firmly on the prediction market chaos and the ongoing Trump baby subplot.
Oh, that's from Dragon Ball.
Choice. Maybe
That's one of the Dragon
the
Balls.
show to be seen as making light of someone's death right away. South Park has always walked a fine line between brutal satire and insensitivity, and this moment is another example of how tricky that can be. The creators seem to be pacing themselves, possibly waiting for the right time to bring Kurt's parody back into the conversation. Or maybe they'll never touch it again. Either way, fans are keeping a close eye on future episodes. Overall, South Park Season 27, Episode 5 is a strong return after the missed deadline fiasco. It's sharp, funny, and classic South Park, blending real world...
Oh, my headset batteries are low.
The missed
Alright.
episode only fueled more hype, and this one delivers plenty of laughs. The Kyle vs. Cartman feud is as strong as ever. The town's obsession with betting on everything is both ridiculous and frighteningly accurate, and the Trump-Satan baby storyline is still hanging in the air, waiting to explode in the most absurd way possible. For longtime fans, this episode feels like proof that South Park still knows how to balance sharp social commentary with ridiculous plots that only this show could pull off. The jokes about gambling apps hit close to home in today's culture, while the ongoing subplot about Trump's demonic pregnancy reminds everyone that South Park will always embrace the bizarre, whether or not they tackle Charlie Kirk's death in future episodes. This season is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable in years, and that's what makes South Park so enduring. Even when the creators admit to dropping the ball with deadlines, the show has such a devoted fan base that people will stick around. Episodes like this prove why no one else is doing satire quite like South Park.